Good morning, Cullman, and thank you for tuning in to Cullman Today. I'm your host, Dustin Isom, and today is Monday, August 26th. We have a lot to look at in local news today, including the death of an on-duty Hanceville City Police dispatcher, Cullman County Public Library's Youth Writing Contest, and the relocation of the Cullman City Dog Park. All of this plus sports, weather, and more, but for now let's dive into the top stories happening in Cullman today. The Cullman County Coroner's Office is probing the death of a Hanceville dispatcher, Christopher Michael Willingham, 49 of Hanceville. According to Cullman County Coroner Jeremy Kilpatrick, Willingham was discovered deceased in his office shortly after 11 a.m. on Friday, August 23rd. Kilpatrick stated that the cause and manner of death are still under investigation. This remains an active investigation, and updates will be provided by the Cullman Tribune. Next up, a two-vehicle collision that occurred around 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, August 24th, has claimed the life of a Vinemont woman. Mira Chafin, 21, suffered fatal injuries when the 2007 Ford Mustang she was driving veered off the road, hit a ditch, and overturned. Neither Chafin nor her passenger, Laura Phillips, 23 of Cullman, were wearing seatbelts, and both were ejected from the vehicle. Chafin was pronounced dead at the scene, while Phillips was injured and airlifted to UAB Hospital in Birmingham for treatment. Following the initial crash, the unoccupied Mustang rolled into oncoming traffic and was struck by a 2014 Toyota Sienna, driven by Suzanne Woods, 56 of Hayden. Woods sustained injuries and was also transported to UAB Hospital for medical care. The accident occurred on Interstate 65 near mile marker 293, approximately 7 miles south of Dodge City in Cullman County. Troopers with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's Highway Patrol Division are continuing their investigation. And to finish out our top stories, the Cullman County Public Library is thrilled to reveal the winners of this year's Youth Writing Contest. Thanks to the support of the Friends of the Public Library and generous individual donations, every participant will receive a prize, ensuring no one goes unrecognized. Winners named on screen can claim their prizes at the library circulation desk during regular operating hours. Now that we have the top stories out of the way, we're going to take a quick break before returning with sports. Hello and welcome back. Now it's time to find out what's going on in the world of sports. In today's sports segment, we take a look at how our local football teams fared in their season openers last week. The Cullman Bearcats hit the road Thursday night to take on Bob Jones, but unfortunately for the black and gold, the Patriots jumped out to a 13-0 lead early in the first quarter. Cooper Ogstead found the end zone early in the second quarter to cut the lead to 13-6, but Cullman went into the locker room trailing 20-6 at the halftime break. A touchdown pass from Preston Gay to Ogstead got the Bearcats back on the scoreboard in the second half, but it wasn't enough to overcome the early Patriot lead, and Cullman dropped its first game of the season, 48-12. The Bearcats will be back home this week to take on Mortimer Jordan. On Friday night, Hanceville hosted Cold Springs at Ray Talley Stadium. The Eagles racked up over 400 yards on their way to a 48-30 victory, with Matt Williams leading the charge with 201 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Cold Springs will visit Curry next week, while Hanceville will travel to Holly Pond. The Vinemont Eagles secured a narrow 16-14 win over Falkville, thanks to touchdowns from Josh Rhodes and Chad Reynolds, and a strong defensive showing. They'll be on the road to play Southeastern this week. The West Point Warriors kicked off the season on their home field against Haleyville Friday night. West Point held a lead in the final few minutes of the game, but the Lions found the end zone with just over 3 minutes on the clock to claim a 27-24 win over the Warriors. The Warriors will remain home this week to take on Good Hope. Holly Pond battled Appalachian in a thrilling home opener. Trailing by 3 in the final minutes, the Broncos couldn't hold off an Appalachian score and fell 28-18. Holly Pond will host Hanceville next. Addison opened its season with a tough road game against the Winston County Yellow Jackets. Addison struggled in a game that after the first 10 minutes wasn't as close as the score would indicate, and the Bulldogs dropped their first game of the season 48-13. Addison will host Decatur Heritage this week. Meek kicked off its season on the road Friday night with a Winston County matchup against Lynn. Unfortunately for Tigers fans, the Bears jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter, and Meek was unable to overcome the early deficit, dropping its first game of the season 33-20. The Tigers will be back home this week to host Winston County. That covers sports for today, but make sure to check with the Cullman Tribune each day for the latest in sports coverage. We'll be right back after this message. Hello and welcome back. Now it's time to speed things up with a news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Cullman Today, along with Cullman County Sheriff Matt Gentry and the Cullman County Sheriff's Office, congratulates Jose Hernandez and Andrew Williams on their recent graduation from the 180th session of the Alabama Police Academy in Selma. We commend their dedication to serving the community. Join the Guy Hunt Library tomorrow, August 27th at 10:30 a.m. for a wild adventure. The event will feature a reading of Maurice Sendak's beloved tale, Where the Wild Things Are, followed by a fun craft session where children can create their own unique cork monsters. Don't miss out on this whimsical story and creative activity for your little ones. A group of 20 to 30 people are striking along U.S. Highway 31 North, protesting unfair labor practices at AT&T. An unnamed Cullman man described it as a bargaining strike, noting that there's no one available to present negotiations. The workers are striking against unfair labor practices and alleged bad faith bargaining. The group has been protesting daily since August 16th at 2 p.m. This strike includes 17,000 people across 9 states involving AT&T employees in landline, fiber, construction, office work, and more, the man said. Local workers from Cullman, Birmingham, and Hanceville are represented in the strike, which will continue until a fair deal is reached. The City of Cullman announced Friday the relocation of the dog park from Heritage Park to a new enhanced location at Engle Park, on the east side of Championship Field. The new park will feature a larger area with shaded spaces, new equipment for dogs, and a conveniently located parking lot closer to the park. These upgrades aim to make the park more accessible and enjoyable for all residents and their pets. The project is expected to be completed by November 2024. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message.
Discover what's buzzing in Cullman with Community Matters, where every story pops off the page with local flair. It's the magazine that's got the inside track on what's now, what's new, and who's who. Get the lowdown on top eats and the 411 on recipes that'll turn up your summer cooking game. Relive our local team's triumphs on the sports fields and pencil in summer's hottest events for fun the whole family will love. Get your copy of Community Matters at the Cullman Tribune, any of the local businesses on screen, or scan the QR code.
Welcome back. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have lost their lives this week as we turn to obituaries. Francis R. Maddox. Francis R. Maddox, 92, passed away on August 25th at Woodland Village Nursing Home. A funeral service for Ms. Maddox will be held at 11 a.m. Tuesday, August 27th at Hanceville Funeral Home Chapel. A private graveside service will take place at a later time at Cullman City Cemetery. Franklin G. Gill. Funeral services for Franklin G. Gill, 76 of Hanceville, will be held at noon on Wednesday, August 28th at Hanceville Funeral Home Chapel. Burial will follow the service at Garden City Cemetery. The family will welcome friends for visitation on Tuesday, August 27th from 6 until 8 p.m. at Hanceville Funeral Home. Hanceville Funeral Home is honored to serve the Gill family. Mira Smith. Mira Smith, 21 of Vinemont, passed away Saturday, August 24th. Funeral services for Ms. Smith will be Friday, August 30th at 10 a.m. at Hanceville Funeral Home Chapel. Burial will follow the service at Hopewell Cemetery in Hanceville. The family will welcome friends for visitation at Hanceville Funeral Home from 6 until 9 p.m. on Thursday, August 29th. Hanceville Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Margie Diane Page. Margie Diane Page, 74 of Holly Pond, passed away on August 24th. The family will receive guests on Tuesday, August 27th from 11 a.m. until when funeral services begin at 1 p.m. All services will be held in the Holly Pond Funeral Home Chapel. Miss Page will be laid to rest at the Reed End Cemetery following services. Holly Pond Funeral Home is honored to serve the Page family. James Anthony Drake. James Anthony Drake, 79 of Cullman, passed away Saturday, August 24th. Friends are invited to join the family for a time of visitation on Saturday, August 31st from 6 until 8 p.m. Funeral services will follow at 3 p.m. on Sunday, September 1st. All services will be held at Center Point Missionary Baptist Church. Mr. Drake will be laid to rest following services in the adjoining cemetery. Holly Pond Funeral Home is honored to serve the family. That wraps up obituaries for today. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their friends and families. Now, let's take a look at today's weather forecast. Today will be sunny with a high near 93. Tonight is expected to remain clear with a low of around 66. Tomorrow continues the late summer trend with sunshine and a high near 96. Tomorrow night will be mostly clear with temperatures dropping to around 70. That concludes another edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. But for now, I'm Dustin Nysom with Cullman Today, wishing you a great Monday, Cullman.